And we're live.
Welcome everybody to This Is Difficult, the podcast. Damn it, I always fuck up my lines. Hi everybody. I can't think of anything for the intro.
I thought that was actually really good.
Welcome everybody. My name is George. Damn it, I fucked it up again. Josh here, Lord Yeshua and the Fleshua, and I'm here to kick it off with you guys. Welcome every Sunday. You like that? I don't even know.
It just seems disgusting. I don't know why.
Yeah, it does sound a little gross, but I liked it.
Okay, now no flesh. Just rip my skin off. Yeah, okay, too far. And you're here on Paul's channel. This is Ryugami-san, the guy himself.
What's up? How's everyone doing?
We're chilling. What a
Excellent.
week. What a week.
Tell me about your weeks, guys.
What do we do?
Any fun life events? Any exciting things?
So much.
News, games.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll probably hold back my personal matters.
Josh, tell us about your week.
Yes. The only game I played this week was Metroid Dread, and I beat it this week, actually. So we have a lot to say. We were literally talking about it up until pressing start on this podcast.
Yeah, we were kind of arguing. That's why it took so long.
We have different takes on, I don't know.
The review is going to be interesting.
I think games can evolve, personally. I think it's okay for games to evolve, especially when there's only 5 in the series.
I agree.
I feel like this is more of an evolution, not a betterment, but necessarily more like a Breath of the Wild take. Not necessarily keeping it 100% a Metroid game, but enough to the point where it's innovative and other people can be into it too. I'm not saying they went as far as Breath by a long shot. More like what Donkey Kong did in the newer games, where like I consider the old fans probably are like, but like I'm like I kind of like that innovative stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, I love the game. I've got problems with it though, and we'll dig real deep into it on the review for sure.
I also have some problems with it, but I feel like I'm going to have the highest score.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, my score is going to be really high.
Oh, really?
But I'm not going to tell you why because.
What? Dude, how can you deny how good it feels to play?
It feels good. It's the best feeling Metroid game there is.
That the bottom line is it's fun to play. It is super easy to just like get sucked into how it feels to play this game.
Yeah.
But regardless, that's all I played. Life was crazy this week. I did a lot of stuff, but you know.
Very cool. Zach, how about yourself? Any fun news?
Yeah, I mean, so we've had a week off. So we had a week off. So my list of games is actually quite extensive. Nice. Alex and I continued our adventure through Gears Tactics, and like we're at the point now where we want a sequel. The game is really good.
Gears 2
the combat system is, I mean, it's an XCOM like, as I've said in the past, but it's just really unique, and I like it a lot. The fact that it cuts down to the ground level, so you can see those Gears level executions and things like that. Just make it really cool. Cool. Continued Arkham Knight. My chat led me into a situation that I'm not particularly happy with. They insisted that I complete the Deathstroke side quest, and it's yielded me yet one more lovely scene with the Batmobile that really should not be there. It's a Deathstroke fight in the Batmobile.
Batmobile?
It's real stupid.
Wait, time out. Is Deathstroke in the Batmobile, or is he outside the Batmobile? He has his own Batmobile?
Yeah, it's really dumb. I'm
dumb as fuck.
Really hating it. And it's the stupid stealth Batmobile garbage that I was complaining about a couple weeks ago. It's really, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But like, I'm in it now, and I'm like 99% of the way through that quest. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to finish it. But this is really stupid. I don't like it. And then we've got just the rest of the main quest to go. I'm not going to bother with the Riddler stuff. I'm just going to look up the ending cinematic. It's just too much.
Why do games have so much now? Why is this there's so much in games? Used to be able to be like, I 100% of that game. I think of like Ocarina of Time or some shit, like even GoldenEye or stuff, or Doom. There's like a few secrets, and you're like, dope, 100%. Even Super Metroid, like super easy, quote unquote, to 100% compared to games nowadays. I'm like, cool, no. The missiles come in 2s now, so you have 10 times as many. Shit like that. I'm like, why? Just make it attainable.
Well, so Comics and Coffee points out in the chat that
it's a little weird.
The Riddler stuff, no, there's no denying it. It is definitely very fun, and I enjoy it. It's just not good streaming content, and I'm playing this game on stream. It's very tedious, and like I can just open up the walkthrough and punch in coordinates and go get the Riddler trophy, but it's just like that does not make for entertaining stream content. I thought about doing it off camera, and I'm just like, I don't want to spend extra time in my office doing that. If I do it eventually, I'll do it on my own. But it's just not that important for me right now.
Like a lot of work, yeah.
It is, but it is very fun, and so it's not a complaint. It's just not what I want to be doing right now. My youngest niece insisted that I play Animal Crossing Pocket Camp with her for a short period of time.
Fun.
Which is the mobile Animal Crossing that came out a few years ago. She just wanted to see my camp, and I showed her Adam's as well. Most of the camps don't exist anymore because they've been deleted or reset or whatever. But I had that open for a short period of time. Chamali, our producer, and I began playing Lego Marvel Superheroes, which God, it's been a long time since I played a Lego Marvel or Lego game. They're so much fun. They're so much stupid fun. So yeah, really, I can't speak highly enough of those games. I also played Metroid Dread for a very short period of time. I got through a couple of bosses and a few Emmys, but then work stuff hit the fan, and I had to stop playing this week. But very much looking forward to getting back to that because I'm really loving it. And finally, Adam and Chamali and I finished Mercenary Kings. We finished the whole thing,
he told me that.
And God, it's fun. The ending is really it makes you feel like a god, to use Josh's words.
I love that when games make you just like a god.
It really makes you feel like
that
a god.
Game's really good.
Yeah, there's a couple of bits where you get the tanks that you've defeated throughout the game, and you just run. It's a linear level. You just run through it, stomping on everything, and it makes you feel so powerful. But it's and we had Adam and I had guns that reload faster. Like they reload so fast that you can't hit the active reload on it. It's like 0.2 seconds or something like that. I actually had one gun that reloads in minus 0.02 seconds. We weren't exactly sure how that makes any sense at all, but it was very cool. So yeah, the ending of Mercenary Kings is very, very cool, but there's a lot to it. I mean, that is a long game. And if you're playing that solo, I can't see it being fun, honestly. It's one of those games that really excels in multiplayer, and we played the three of us, and then Paul, you joined us for a couple of sessions.
And I had a blasty. But yeah, I can see why you would say that about trying to play it solo. I think you could do it solo, but it would be much more stressful.
As I think of it, yes, you could, but you'd have to pixel perfect so many jumps, and you'd have to go in with no healing supplies because you need room for C4 and shock bombs and stuff to help you take out the bosses and open up doors. It's it would be so stressful, and it would take so freaking long that I was our just to show how bad I am. I was our group's kind of designated quote unquote healer, and I ended up using all my healing supplies on myself.
Oops.
Powerful.
Because I was real bad.
At least you brought them.
Yep, I had him. I tried to revive Adam 3 or 4 times, and it would hit me by mistake with the adrenaline shot.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the last couple levels, I was like, I can't revive Adam. This is really annoying.
That is rough.
So there's a couple of weird bits, but it is a very cool game, and I enjoyed every second of it. So
excellent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
How about you, Paul?
Very cool. I've had a busy couple weeks too. Not necessarily in gaming, though I did have my fair share. I finished the Ghost of Tsushima expansion, the Iki Island expansion. Very good.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what else. Adam and I have been getting more consistent with doing Brawler Bros. So we played Knights of the Round and some other similar brawler last week, and then this week.
Heard of that. Sounds awesome.
It's pretty cool. It's it incorporates kind of some RPG elements into a brawler, which is very fun. King of Dragons was the other one. Thanks, Adam, in the chat.
I think I've heard of that.
And that one does something, has some similar systems in it as well. It's very fun. And then we played Scott Pilgrim this week, which was cool. We didn't finish it. We were one level off from finishing it, but that game kind of requires you to grind a little bit, which is also unique for a brawler to a degree. But yeah, we were pretty close, but that game's fucking excellent. I've been playing Dread as well.
Critically, I might add. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I like if you're reviewing a game, I think that
True.
you should go into it with a critical eye. And I love the game. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's fantastic. In fact, so much that because I'm only playing it on stream, I've been playing Metroid Fusion off stream to kind of supplement that, because I'm like, I need that Metroid fix,
It's good.
It's good.
I know I haven't had it in so long.
So yeah, that's been good. And then I watched Dune last night. The new Dune movie, incredible. In fact, like, oh, dude, it was incredible. And I've never read the books, but now I really want to read the books. And I was upset that there wasn't another Dune, like, the sequel just ready to go right then and there. Like, because I was ready. I was freaking ready because it was so good. But the really big news is I'm buying a house. So that's and that's why, I like this week hasn't been like super crazy as far as like gaming is concerned. But yeah, so we've been busy with that. Very excited. It's not quite a done deal yet, but we're pretty close. So, there's some inspection stuff that needs to be addressed and things like that. But it's looking good for the most part. So excited about that. But yeah, that was pretty much my week. Well, 2 weeks. So,
that's pretty good. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Good stuff, man. I can't wait to like Josh and Zach mentioned earlier. We kind of like already were talking a lot about Dread before the show. Can't wait to review it. But
I will say, having beaten it, you really got to get to the end. There is a lot this game.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair for most games. But I've been playing Samurai Warriors as well. Samurai Warriors 5. Forgot to mention.
Nice.
Oh yes. Also on Friday we'll be picking up Mario Party, so I'm going to let you guys know how that is. I'm pretty excited. Everyone doesn't care but me, pretty much, because
I'm excited about it.
I think this was the best era of Mario Party. I'm less excited about a brand new installment than I am a remake of the old, because I think that's kind of a better era for this genre. That was when it was such a fresh idea that is like, I think it's cool to kind of reinvent that. This is almost like a Link's Awakening. It could potentially be like the best Mario Party that exists. So I think that's pretty cool. And I heard the online all got leaked apparently today or yesterday. And like someone like completely spoiled all like exactly what's going on in the game. I don't know. And there's like a very extensive online though, and people are really excited.
Well, that's good. That's good.
The good news,
I could probably show you physical scars I have from playing those games back in.
Oh yeah, how many? The palms of my hands are.
But also scars from like my siblings attacking me, or something like that. Something went awry. It's like playing Monopoly. There comes a point in the game where it gets violent.
I wonder if they did. How many times have I gotten into fights with people? Right. I wonder. I used to like bring my GameCube and N64 over to friends' houses and like all 4 controllers and shit, and we just like play Mario Party and Mario Kart and stuff. And I didn't have Smash until Melee. Crazy, but anyway. Damn it, I forgot what I was talking about. There's those mini games where you had to rotate your joystick like that with the palm of your hand and you like kill yourself.
I hope those aren't in this because that'll destroy your Switch Joy-Con.
I was about to say, there's no way they could do any of those. But that was only
in Mario Party 1. They already know that there's a drift issue in the Joy-Cons.
Yeah. But so that was
like they'd have to implement motion.
They would give you like a free Joy-Con. Wait, so that was only
motion
Mario Party
control.
1, and I think that was only like 5 mini games. It was really not that many mini games.
Yeah.
It was like the Boo one and like a few other ones. Right. Anyway, what else? What are we talking about now?
That's it, man. Show's over.
Show's over. Everybody go home.
No, Zach's got a review. Zach, let's get over to the review screen and we'll get in there and you can tell us what you're reviewing. 1 second. Here we go. Shaklak.
Right, so I recently finished Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine for like the 3rd or 4th time. I freaking love this game. Like, it's so much fun. It was developed by Relic Entertainment. It was released September 6th of 2011, so quite a long time. It is 10 years old. It's a 10-year-old game.
Really?
I played it on PC, although I have played it on Xbox 360 as well. I have both versions of the game, courtesy of my brother. So it's available on PC, PS3.
And it didn't sound right.
Like, yeah, it looks, right? Graphically, it looks really good for that era.
It does, right? It looks gorgeous for that era. What do I like about it? Dude, you're running around as a Space Marine hacking the stuffing out of orcs for more than half the game. You just tear them apart with every weapon in the Space Marine arsenal. It's hysterical. There's blood flying everywhere. There's gore and vitriol. I mean, it is just a disgusting game.
Yeah, you just impale some guy into a wall.
Turn it on. You are giggling like a child because it's the only thing your body knows how to do to handle that level of disgust.
Nice.
Relish like Space Marines are touted as these like 7-foot tall immortal warriors. They're definitely not immortal. I've definitely killed many of them with Tyranids, but that's okay. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing for another day.
Yes, we don't know what that is.
Yeah, we get the reference. I'm not a Warhammer guy.
Fair enough. You feel like a Space Marine. You feel functionally invulnerable. You feel like you could run into a mob of orcs and just cut them to pieces, whether you're shooting them or chainsawing them or hitting them with a giant hammer. Like you feel like yeah, there it is. See.
What about a peace hammer?
Thunder hammer, actually, they call it, which it's cool. A Warhammer. Come on, guys. It's a Warhammer.
When would you use it in war?
But I mean,
just murdering everyone.
Just at home doing home improvement with a thunder hammer.
I know, right? How cool would that be?
Damn. This looks like, kind of looks like Destiny a little.
This looks nothing like Destiny.
Kind of does.
No, dude, it's nothing like Destiny at all.
The shooting?
It's okay. No, the way that it would be like, if I were to liken it to Destiny, it would be like constantly using your super, just always having your super up.
Okay. Yeah, you just always have your Titan Smash going.
Yep. Yeah. It's just Titan Smash after Titan Smash after Titan Smash. The thing that I did, like, the writing was very predictable, and
I'm gonna save America.
Like, yeah, it's.
I'm a Marine.
Clearly, I mean, there's one way to write a Space Marine game, and there's going to be heresy involved. And at some point throughout the plot, you're going to be suspected as a heretic, and there's going to be chaos involved because there always is. It's like,
it's like a fake storyline.
Have like any of the other races? There are so many cool races in the 40K universe. Tau, Necrons, Tyranids. Those are all alien races that would have been so much cooler to deal with than just orcs and chaos. It's like, that's always the villains in Space Marines. Give me something different. Give me something unique. And I think to establish a foothold, this game does a really good job. It's like, okay, let's bring in the bog standard Space Marine bottom line. And then, like, in a sequel, you could set up for any number of other alien races. But there was no sequel. So we never saw that.
Look at this shit. Just cut them in half.
So yeah, it's like the writing was kind of a bummer. The gameplay is incredibly fun. Like
Dynasty Warriors meets God of War in space.
Well, I've got a good analogy, Josh, and I think you'll dig it. One of my customers said the following of Space Marine. So I can find it. He was like, it's Isaac from Dead Space running around killing things like Kratos.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And I'm like, that is like the perfect description of what Space Marine is. I was shocked, and I was like, yeah, I gotta use that on the podcast. So I got his permission, and he's just totally fine with it. I don't actually know his name, but
copywritten. He got its copywritten beforehand, and now he can sue you.
Copyright that guy I saw at the store.
Yeah.
So
it says on the contract.
Yeah, right. So yeah, the gameplay is incredibly fun. I mean, if you just like mindlessly slaughtering things,
oh yeah,
it's basically you're on a railroad. There's no real. I mean, the path is very, very linear. Like even more so than Gears of War. You're not using a cover system. Like I remembered it as Gears of War with Space Marines. It is very much not. Like Gears of War is a cover shooter. If you're in cover in Space Marine, you're probably doing something wrong.
It's more like
you want to be out there just blasting the bejesus out of everything. And if you have the jump pack, you feel even more powerful because then you just fly up in the air and come down and hammer smash anything that's in your path. Generally,
it's
just
like all I would do.
Well, so and I wish it were like that, Josh. I wish they let you keep the jump pack for more often because they take it away from you really fast.
How rude.
What the hell is that?
It runs out of gas or whatever. It's like, come on, this is the best part of the game. It's just flying up in the air 20
runs 30, out of gas in space. But I'm using like all these insane.
They don't have
weapons.
Space gas.
I know, right? It's like,
electricity, just like put a generator on your back.
Is
like
really
what?
Weak. Like the writing is super
gas?
Weak.
But my oxygen works. I don't run out of oxygen, but like I'll run out of gas in my hammer. Like what are you doing?
The art is like pretty mediocre, really. Like it looks again, it looks beautiful for the era that it was in.
Yeah,
but it's like
I see that
gray and grimy, and it's like
it does have that kind of like
right
PlayStation
like,
3 era grim dark look.
Yeah, it does.
Exactly. It's very, very standard. Like there's nothing
like
special
a lot of
about
brown.
It's a lot of brown.
So it's like
BioShock a little.
On art, it's like I don't know, a 5. Like it's pretty low on art. It's just like right up the middle. The music is entirely forgettable. Like it was cool. It gave you a sense of epicness. So it's like, you know, like a 6, 7 somewhere in there. It's like fine, you know. Sound design, like when that chainsaw revs or when you when the warp portals open up, like you feel it. The sound design is like an 8 or a 9. It's really good.
Really feel it.
And like honestly, if I could replicate those sounds at the tabletop, that would be dope, and it would add a lot to the tabletop experience too.
What's that comedian that does all the noises with his face?
The guy from the Bleep Bloop guy from Spaceballs.
Spaceballs and
and from Police
Academy. Yeah, same guy.
I don't remember. He's so famous.
Yeah, you need to just invite him to your games.
Right. So Michael Winslow. That's it.
That's the guy.
Yep. I liked the sound design so much in this game that one year. So my friends and I always used to do these big Halloween parties, and I had a friend whose only fear allegedly was our science teacher, who was like ex-military and very loud and obnoxious. So I had him record a voiceover saying something to the effect of, "You're a punk. You are worthless and weak. Now on your feet and attack that machine gun nest." And like I needed something to sort of pump the war feel in, so we could let up a cardboard cutout of him and pepper the ground with airsoft fire and stuff and freak the hell out of this person. And I used the sound effects from Space Marine.
Nice.
To make that happen, and boy, she lost it. It was great. It was the best scare I think we've ever orchestrated. But so yeah, the sound design was very high, very well done.
Okay, that's good.
How long did it take me? Not long. I only died like a handful of times. The game's really easy, and I was playing it on normal. I could tell you an exact number of hours, like 8 to 10 maybe. Like probably not even.
That's not bad for a game like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially if it's got decent replayability.
Yeah, 8 hours. About 8 hours. And yeah, I mean, on paper, it doesn't have very good replayability because the campaign is the same. There's no decision making in it at all. The multiplayer is hot garbage. It's just deathmatch. And for a third-person shooter, that doesn't really work. They released a bunch of DLC. In fact, they released DLC like 2 months ago or something for this game. It was just like a bunch of skins, and I was like, "This is stupid. I don't care." I have no desire to play this game in multiplayer. I think we did for a short period because we were bored, and it just wasn't fun. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't difficult at all. It wasn't a long experience. It was like, it's fine. Would I play a sequel? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I would play a sequel. Please give me a sequel to this game, because there are so many other corners of the galaxy. They leave it on a giant cliffhanger. It's like, what becomes of this guy now that he's exposed himself to corrupting energy, basically? Which in retrospect is a very Metroid thing to do, but
corrupting energy,
right? But like, it's, like I would definitely play a sequel to this game, even 10 years later. Like, I think that'd be very, very cool.
Space Navy.
The only Warhammer game I've ever played is Vermintide 2, and I will say, like, kind of similar to a lot of the things that you're saying about this game. Like on the surface, it's not like the best game ever,
right?
But like as far as like pure enjoyment while you're playing it, that is one of the most fun games I've ever freaking played.
Yeah,
I mean, so I would play another Vermintide
Fantasy, right?
game in a second. It's whatever, it takes place in olden times, not in future times.
It's Warhammer Fantasy, which is honestly my preferred setting. I beta tested Warhammer Online Wrath of Heroes, which was a MOBA, and God, that game was fun. Like I could just sit there and beat face as a dwarf with giant red spiky hair and no armor, just take things apart. And like, there's something to that. There's something to that mindless nature of Warhammer games. And even there's some thought. Like Dawn of War is another one of my favorites. It's another 40K game. It's a great real-time strategy game. The first one. The second one's also pretty good. The third one was kind of garbage, but like they're good. They're in general good games, and I would definitely play. I just want to know what happens to the characters in Space Marine, because there's a bunch of cool ones that could have been much more interesting if there was sequels or even DLC chapters. I just, he defeated the big bad. It was a quick time event fight, which like on the surface seems kind of garbage, but like the fight that leads up to that quick time event is so challenging and so difficult that by the time you get done with it, you're like, okay, this final boss could only be a quick time event because they made that fight so challenging and so like you have to do it. So looking for such perfect execution.
What'd you just say?
What? Nothing. I didn't say anything.
I actually wanted to make a comment, but I you didn't beat it yet, my friend.
No, I know. I'm
just wait. You're gonna get fucked up. No, I'm just kidding. It took me 20 tries to beat the final boss.
Yeah, I said it sounds like Metroid Dread.
It's still, regardless of quick time and artificial whatever, it took me 20 plus times to beat the final boss. That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so
that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, no, it is. And I mean, Space Marine took me a good load of time. Like it took me most of a stream, a 2-hour stream
for
to finish.
One boss. That was like Mega Man.
Well, it's a raid though. It's a wave style, waves of minions, waves of lieutenants, just like
almost like a survival mode. Almost
it is a survival mode. It is
like Skyward Sword at the end.
And there's very little. Like the only way to heal yourself up is to perform executions. And in the heat of that, another complaint that I have is if you're in the middle of an execution animation, you can still get hit. So if you've got, as Paul says, a bee's dick of health at the end, and you're trying to perform an execution to get your health back,
it does say that
you're just gonna die. So it's the balance is not perfect. It does make that last fight really, really difficult. But it's one of few games that difficulty level does not make it unfun. You want to immediately dive right back in and try it again.
So would you say this is like a good natural difficulty or like an artificial difficulty?
Stop.
No, it's a natural difficulty. It's good natural difficulty.
Not related to any conversation we had earlier.
Topic tonight?
I'm glad that we had the discussion about flow state right before I went into this, because that's exactly what happened. I knew I had to go make dinner. I had one more try in me, and I was just like, okay, it's either now or I do this at the top of another stream, and unfortunately it's just going to be 2 games in one stream. And I just sat down, buckled in, and absolutely everything was perfectly executed. I had full health going into the quick time event.
I love that.
What's your final score? Your final say?
Final score? I mean, it's like a 7.4 with high replayability. With high replayability and no underlying cause for said replayability.
It's just fun gameplay.
It's just pure fun.
Okay.
It's pure fun.
That's good. That's not bad.
So yeah, it's not a
solid score.
It's a solid score. It's not overwhelmingly fantastic. It's not overwhelmingly bad. There's some good bits. There's some bad bits. Yeah, 7.4.
Excellent.
Very good. Very good.
And there's the review. Warhammer 2047.
2047.
What is it? Space Marine 40,001. Space Odyssey. Anyway, let's
1984.
That's the review, guys. Thank you very much, Zach. That was awesome. I might have to check this game out at some point.
You should.
So, let's
become a Marine.
Cool. So we do have a topic this week. This week's topic, it came in a little late, but I think it's a good topic. It's licensed games that are actually good. Because, when we think of licensed games, a lot of the times, they're doo-doo butts. Games based off of movies or, things like that.
I was going to say, let's come up with what is our working definition of licensing?
Did we have this topic already? I have to say. I also feel like
similar, Josh, but not exactly this. Like, I think the first thing we need to do is establish
like book versus video game.
Yeah, that's a little different. Yeah. That's different.
And then we talked about like Lord of the Rings, the game, and all of that. I'm pretty sure, the movie and all that.
Okay, well, I guess show's over, Josh.
No, I feel like I'm having deja vu.
I think it's a similar topic. You're right. I think it's a similar topic.
Okay,
but this time, instead of focusing on this versus this, we want to focus mostly just on what like licensed games are out there that are actually good. And before we went live, I actually just Googled it. And I didn't realize, like, there really is a ton of good ones. Most times when you think of licensed games, you think of, like, doo-doo butts, like, whatever. E.T. or I'm trying to think of some other bad ones. But, I mean, there's plenty out there, right? There's plenty, like Tarzan, like Disney's Tarzan, things like that. LGN games, like, there's a bunch of, like, real stinkers out there. But if you really think about it, there's actually quite a few very, very good ones. I mean, if you only look at the Batman series of games, right? Sure, there's some stinkers here and there, but a lot of them are fantastic.
The Arkhams are all good. Also, let's not forget the best one.
Batman the animated series on Game Boy.
I'm gonna pause you on the Arkham ones because I've done 3 out of 4 reviews on that right now, and like there are parts of them that are very, very good, but with the exception of
Origins.
City, they all have glaring flaws.
Yeah, but would you say any of them are like overall bad games?
No, but they're like not great. I don't know. I guess we're talking good games, yeah, they all fall into the category
best licensed franchise. I can't believe you haven't said it yet. Ninja Turtles, baby.
I was gonna bring up Ninja Turtles.
So that's where I was going next. Is like
I think it's the best licensed video game franchise.
What games
Spider-Man also,
or what properties lend themselves to being adapted well? And I'm thinking right off the top of my head,
curious.
Superheroes,
obviously.
Like,
superheroes are
how else are you going to capture that experience?
For me, there's a huge turnoff with like playing a created IP. We talked about this also, where but it's a little different still.
It can limit the scope of what the game can be, and like what lore is available for the game.
Yeah, it's one thing to be like Link, who is like, or Samus, but is like in this world. But then you're like brought into a world that already exists from elsewhere, and it's put into a video game. So you're not like you're not reading a comic. You're playing an adaptation of that. So it is still like a transition. It really does have to be spot on. I think, magic, superheroes, it's really like hard because anything like real life is boring as fuck.
Right. Well, right. It's the things that are the farthest away from real life.
Sports games. That's like the worst licenses ever.
Yeah.
I hate
that's actually games. A great point.
They're the worst licensed games. FIFA, I don't even care. I don't care. I don't want to play FIFA.
They're also like the highest selling licensed games.
Because they're highest selling because they're literally like, I'm gonna buy a FIFA every year, press buy whenever it comes out. Because I don't.
Okay, admittedly, like the annualness of them is a problem.
That's how Mario Party used to be, though. I guess.
Yeah, it's true. But like, I played FIFA 07 in college constantly, and it was like 2010. Like we bought one old copy of FIFA for like $5, and we played the hell out of it.
That's just you guys. I don't get it. It's like hitting a ball back and forth on a top-down. Like, wow.
I don't know. I'll say this. I'm not a sports game player either, except for There's a few that I really, really enjoyed, like the old NFL Blitz games were great.
Well, the first NFL Blitz is so good. Arcade isn't even a football game.
And
it's not even how you play football. That's just
sure,
a fun
fine.
Game.
It's still a sports game. Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey '98, freaking fantastic, absolutely fantastic game. Yeah. And again, I like hockey, but I don't like watch it on TV hardly ever. In fact, I like hockey more than I like football, but I watch more football because my wife likes football. Yeah. You know what I mean?
How much more fun is a Mario adaptation of any of these things? Like a more fantastical adaptation. It's like, okay, tennis. If you love the tennis games, like how much better is a game like Mario Tennis or Mario Golf than a regular? Because you're upping that fantastical vibe. Who wants to play as real fucking people when you can play as Bowser and it's just like the same mechanics, but better? Like I don't understand the whole want to play with.
Don't get me wrong, I think that Nintendo puts a really awesome spin on their sports games, and that's why they're so successful, you know. But I'm just saying that like not all sports games are bad. Most of them are, though.
Most of them are bad.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was gonna make a joke that by the way, the Bruins won 4-3 while we were talking, but like, you know, I mean, I'm a giant hockey dork. I spend so much time analyzing and watching and living and breathing hockey, but I'm not going to go out and buy NHL 2022. Like, I don't care that much.
3?
Right.
2022.
Yeah, right. It's like, come on.
2026. Wait, it's only 2021. What are you even doing?
I will play.
I would play Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey 2021 if they made one.
Right, because it exactly leads to Josh's point. It's like it's way more fun when it's more fantastical. Yeah, as soon as they're getting real-time stats in there, I no longer give a darn.
It's like playing fantasy football, but it's like there's no purpose. It's like playing for fun fantasy football is like what having like a Madden is basically.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to knock it if everyone's into that shit. Like I'm a nerd for shit too, but it's just so funny to see people that are like nerdy for that sports shit too, and then like playing a game of it. Just like go play the damn sport.
Go play the sport.
Lace
up your skates and go get on the ice. Yeah.
To me, I'm like, go see a game, watch it on TV, or play it. But like to play a video game of it, like it doesn't even qualify as a reality version of it. So I'm like, I don't even get it. Like playing Mario, I'm like, go all the way over the fantastical side and just be Bowser and slap a ball with magic.
What are some licensed games though that really stick out to you as
Lord of the Rings
awesome?
2 for the PS2
Okay.
The Two Towers.
Dude,
I think Lord of the Rings is the worst franchise ever, but I'll give you that.
No,
I haven't played the game. I haven't played the game. I just don't like Lord of the Rings.
Specifically this one, me and my buddy played all the time. We'd be like Legolas and Gandalf. I was always Legolas, he's Gandalf. We're just like killing through horror. It's like almost like
weren't they
Warriors kind of, but not.
No, but they were more like weren't they done like the Battlefront games? Wasn't it literally like the same system?
A little, yeah. To me it felt like
the original Battlefront games.
It felt kind of gauntlet-y also because you do have like your basic abilities and like you can grow and so I don't know, but yeah, true, more like Battlefield as far as how they approach like combat and stuff. But they were pretty fun, I thought. The only one I can think of
Battlefront is what I meant. Like Star Wars Battlefront. Did I say Battlefield? I probably said Battlefield too.
I thought you meant I
meant Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah,
I knew what you meant, which actually does that bring those into question? Which is like I was gonna bring those up. There's a whole bunch of really fantastic Star Wars
games. And for every generation too, is like the original Dark Forces was dope as hell.
Star Wars is a really good like ethos to pick for a licensed game though, because there's like you're not super locked into this set, you know. Like Lord of the Rings, I feel like actually you are kind of locked into like this really set strict lore. Sure, and that's fine.
Like the ones that are good, you're playing as the characters from the show or from the movie. Where Star Wars, you can introduce a whole battery of new characters. We saw it with what was the one you just played, Paul?
Jedi.
Like last year.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order. Like that's a character we've never seen before.
But they still sprinkle in a character or a lore bit here and there to kind of jerk you out fan service wise.
And that goes as far back as Dark Forces. Is like Kyle Katarn was not in the movies, but I feel like he is because of his involvement with the stealing of the Death Star plans.
Same thing with Dash Rendar.
Legacy timeline,
the whole Dark Forces stuff. Though that game is arguably not a good game in retrospect. It was good at the time.
Shadows of the Empire?
Yeah.
Does it not stand up? I haven't played it.
Doesn't hold up very well. That's a topic for another time. I don't think Nintendo 64 in general holds up very well, but
all right.
That's a topic for another time.
Talked about that.
We're gonna
talk about this.
Wrong thing.
We talked about doing a series on like going one generation at a time and like picking apart the various consoles and systems in that generation. I don't know that I can agree with that, Paul. I love the N64.
I love the N64 too. I think of all, and again, topic for another time, but of all the consoles from that generation, its games hold up the worst out of any of the other consoles.
Well, we'll get into that on a future episode before Josh goes off on it.
I can see the rage in his face.
I know, I can see it building. So yeah, Shadows of the Empire and those types of games, like any Star Wars game that introduces a new character does indeed create a new pocket of the universe. The Star Wars universe is so vast that you can do that without impacting anything, really. Yeah. Look what The Mandalorian did. It's kind of, second season, spoilers, sorry, it kind of skirts the Jedi garbage that I don't care about and don't want in my...
I thought the second season was better because of that stuff. Personally,
I'm so sick of the Skywalkers, man. I'm so sick of them.
So you don't have to do the Skywalkers. I think the concept of Jedi is very cool, and when done correctly, it is fantastic. Yes. I think you're absolutely right. I think we lean too much, or not we, but they lean in too much into the Skywalker family and all that stuff.
Even just like showing us people that we thought were gone from the lore. It's just like two characters were like big names. We didn't get any new Jedi or anything. Like,
we haven't had a new Jedi yet, but I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
Clearly something that works heavily, and so. But it's just like becomes more and more obvious as you grow older. So like I like that Star Wars keeps creating new timelines, and who knows when we're getting 10, 11, 12, honestly, like probably in the next 10 years. I would say we're going to get that trilogy, and we're
there's
grandma. I'm not even kidding.
There's talk about actually just completely retconning the sequel trilogy and
a lot of rumors of that.
Are you fucking kidding me right now? Wait, you're talking 7, 8, 9?
Yeah.
Why? Just fucking.
I heard that this week. I was like,
it was awful. Those rumors have been floating for a while. But
that's a rumor. They're gonna have to redo movies.
Who knows, man?
They could correct it afterwards.
That's someone else's podcast. Like that's not for us to tell.
What are some other? Let's get back on track. What are some other licensed games that are just freaking bangers that you really love?
All the Lego games.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, the Lego games have been so good. Even the properties that I don't care as much about, Indiana Jones, for example. Sorry, not my thing. But I enjoy it enough. Like that game was super rad. And like actually convinced me to go watch the movies because it doesn't tell you at all what's going on. As far as the Lego game is concerned, I still really enjoyed it. And I still 100%ed it. Adam in chat is saying the Lego Indiana Jones sucks. Okay, fine. I thought it was just fine. It's definitely the low point in the Lego series, but
is Resident Evil a license?
No, Resident Evil was a game. So that's the reverse, right? That's a game that became a movie.
No, but it was okay. It was an arcade franchise initially, and then I'm like, was it
the first Resident Evil was just straight up on PlayStation.
It was PlayStation, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Am I thinking like House of the Dead?
You're thinking House of the Dead.
House of the Dead, yeah.
Yeah, House of the Dead, which would be considered a license or no, because of that, or is it just still a video game?
It's still a video.
To me, an arcade is more of an ad. Like an arcade is like it's obviously the first type of video game. I know we're skirting the lines here because of how technology existed back then. But it almost felt like you're more advertising a product than
kind of. I mean, so arcade games were definitely designed just to break in quarters, but there's tons and tons. I mean, most of the original Nintendo games and other consoles from that time period were like taking ports of the arcade games and putting them on the console. So I wouldn't say that. Like I still think arcade falls into video game territory. I don't think that like transferring a property from arcade to a console constitutes what we're talking about. Adam in the chat brings up the DuckTales 1 and 2, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, Tailspin, Rescue Rangers. I was going to bring those up, actually. The Capcom Disney games on, the original Nintendo and I think Super Nintendo as well.
Yeah.
Freaking fantastic.
They're so
good. Absolutely fantastic games, and those are all licensed properties.
Wait, what about Pokemon?
Pokemon also was a game first,
dude.
No, I thought it was a manga.
No.
Did we fact check this a while ago?
Yeah, we fact checked it a while ago. We've had this exact conversation. Yeah, the
We're
manga and the anime came later.
Okay, well then that's
marvelous. Paul and Zach just correct Josh on everything he throws out.
Correcting me. I'm trying to think of any others. I'm like, we got them all pretty much. Except
no, there's tons, man. 007. Okay, GoldenEye.
How can I not think of that? Damn it.
GoldenEye's a huge one.
I've heard recently that GoldenEye does not hold up.
I don't think it holds up either. Again, because it's on Nintendo 64.
Also, it will not be on the Switch because they cannot get licensing. So you will not be able to play this when the Switch gets the online. They've announced they will not be getting GoldenEye because they cannot get licensing secured.
Wow.
Isn't that fucked up?
It's not a surprise.
I don't know. Because if it doesn't hold up, then I don't care.
They can get Banjo-Kazooie from Microsoft.
There's also a really awesome Zelda-like James Bond game on the Game Boy that I recommend you guys check out. It's so good. It's very fun.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's very cool. What else? Alien Isolation is a really big one that a lot of people enjoy. Obviously the Spider-Man games, we talked about that. Simpsons has had a bunch of
Simpsons arcade Road Rage was so much fun.
Road Rage, but the arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the one I love.
Yeah. There's been some really shit Simpsons games too.
There have been a lot of shit out games.
But there's some good ones.
Which begs the question, there was supposed to be a Futurama video game.
Is there not? Is there not?
No, there was, and they released it. It got canceled. I think it was on PlayStation 2. And they released footage of it on one of the DVDs just to show this is what could have been, and it looks really cool. None of you wanted to buy it, so we didn't make it, or something.
And I didn't even know.
I know, right? I would have bought a PlayStation for that.
Yeah. Street Fighter the movie, the game. Just kidding. That game's fucking awful.
Oh God,
I had that on Sega Saturn.
Street Fighter the movie, the game.
Street Fighter the movie, the game. Oh, it's awful.
I hate that. It makes me die just doing that. What about some comics and stuff and things that were more old school that we're not thinking about?
I think those count.
X-Men Legends.
What is that we haven't said? I'm trying to think.
Well, here's the thing about comics is we already kind of addressed superheroes. Superheroes, I think, are the most translatable property to video games.
True.
Right?
Because it's very such a departure from the real world.
What about anime?
At the same time, it generally deals with humans or humanoids. So there's a relatability factor there, just like there is in comics. And it allows you to do things that you can't do. You are physically unable to do. Even if you're just playing someone who's street level martial artist, Luke Cage, for example. Unbreakable Skin, okay, great. That's his superpower, but he's still just punching and kicking.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like a god the way that comics do. You disconnect far enough to
sounds dope
to feel good. And so that's why Marvel Heroes, rest in peace, was so successful for myself and Adam and my buddy Doug. We played that constantly because it feels so good. And it adapts the property basically flawlessly into a myriad of genres. You can do a superhero beat 'em up, you can do a superhero RPG, you can do a superhero MMO. All of those things are totally fine, and it still make you feel like a superhero.
You know what also does that really, really well on that note is the Dragon Ball Z games also.
Yes.
Some of them were really good. I played
most of them are good.
Out of the first
The
Budokai.
new ones are so good looking in how the fighting looks and how the animation is. You look better than the show when you're fighting.
Yeah.
I think most Ultimate Battle 22 was a piece of shit. But
Tenkaichi for the Wii.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the Budokai games are amazing.
Tenkaichi 3 or whatever.
Yeah, especially for the time. I don't think those games hold up as well as
the new ones are more game with stories, and I feel like they feel like you're more playing like in the Dragon Ball Z universe. At least just watching them, they look really amazing.
When you can line up Hercule versus like Super Saiyan Vegeta, and Hercule still stands a chance,
it's amazing.
Like there's just something that feels good about that. And so many birthday parties was just Budokai or Budokai 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For hours.
Yeah.
So
I absolutely love those games.
Honestly, Budokai is what got me to start reading DBZ or DB, I guess.
I grew up watching that shit.
I'd watched the show a couple of times, but I never really bothered with the manga until I had played Budokai a couple of times.
I think that show holds up really well. There's an endless universe. Like a lot of anime can do it pretty well.
I think a problem the Dragon Ball Z universe has in general is power creep. I think it's very guilty of that. But it's still very cool. You know, like
I thought that like you should be blowing up planets just by powering up.
Right. So like the original Dragon Ball was based on like the Journey to the West, mythology, the Chinese mythology, Journey to the West with Wukong and all that stuff.
I didn't know.
It's very interesting. But once they kind of spun into Dragon Ball Z, they took it to a different turn, and it became more and more about just fighting the next most powerful thing. And I still think there's really good storylines and there's really good action, but there's a power creep that occurs that I think is like brings you into the area of diminishing returns, that
like, how can you possibly make everyone that much stronger than the last guy?
Right.
Just saying, if like the guy in season 10 just like breathed on Frieza, he would melt.
Right.
Yeah.
And that kind of carries over to the games, but not as bad. Like you said, you can have Hercule fighting against, Cell, and
he's just human.
Yeah.
Right. He's just a guy who can punch real hard.
Yeah. And that's fun.
And even Chi-Chi can beat him in a fight. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think she punches him through the moon.
Well, I mean, okay. Anyway. Adam does point out that there's some really rough DBZ games on like the GBA, and I'm going to note
there's some good ones on there too.
There are, but oftentimes, for translating a property to a console or PC game is much more immersive. You're able to be much more immersive than you are on a handheld.
Yeah,
I would agree.
So I think that postulation that the DBZ games hold up better on consoles than on portable holds up is the case in a lot of other properties as well. I would personally say like Super Star Wars, which is one of my favorite Star Wars games, is significantly better on the Super Nintendo than it is on the Game Boy.
Well, it's not on the Game Boy. The Star Wars.
Sorry, Return of the Jedi.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I have not played the Game Boy version of Super Return of the Jedi, but the original Star Wars game on the Game Boy is the same as the Star Wars game on it's the same as the Star Wars game on Nintendo, which is a steaming pile of shit.
Yes,
it's
correct.
An awful game.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, I misspoke. I meant Return of the Jedi.
But and I have that. I have that game. And I didn't know how much of a steaming pile of shit it was when I was a kid. Though what you said about it being easier to translate to a console than to a handheld, I think is true to an extent. But you've got Batman in the Animated Series on Game Boy is one of my all-time favorite games. It's fantastic. It can be done, and there are some good GBA Dragon Ball Z games. There's just also stinkers. So, it just depends on how much care that company's putting into it. And I think that's kind of the problem with licensed games in general is a lot of times, like, two things happen. Number one, they're trying to get a product out as quickly as they can to just get it sold. And then number two is these companies that are making these games or pick up these licensed products sometimes don't give a shit about that property and are just trying to get that game out so that they can make a quick buck, and I think that's been the downfall of a lot of games, like The Matrix Path of Neo. What a fucking piece of shit that game was. There's countless other really terrible. I mentioned it earlier. Street Fighter, the movie, the game, is just a tragedy,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So there's, what it boils down to make a good licensed video game is getting it in the hands of a studio that actually cares about
it. That's exactly what I was just going to say. It's like the developers have to be fans first, and that's also, I mean, that comes right from the movies. You know, who is it? Jon Favreau is a Star Wars fan.
Yes.
J.J. Abrams is a Star Wars fan. You give Abrams Star Trek, great, he's going to do fine, but R2-D2 is still going to show up.
I mean, like, he made the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies are basically just Star Wars movies.
Yeah, exactly correct.
100%.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
I thought that
and I love them. Cool. I really like them.
I do too. I'm a huge fan. And the one that Simon Pegg wrote is the best, I think, of them, in terms of being a Star Trek movie. But at the end of the day, you're right. They're just Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you gave Abrams Star Wars, he was on cloud nine and he was making the movie that he wanted to make. Same thing with Jon Favreau and Iron Man or The Mandalorian or any of those things. That if the director, if the person responsible for them is a fan first, it's going to be better. 100% of the time.
I agree. There you go. Any final thoughts on the matter, boys?
I'd say it can be done, but not all the time.
Obviously, yeah. One we left out was Burger King Sneak King.
Oh, how could we forget that?
Go to bed. That game's terrible.
You forgot I love you, Colonel Sanders.
Oh, yeah, we didn't forget I love you, Colonel Sanders. I think Sneak King is hilarious, too.
Sneak King is really good.
It is, admittedly, but they're both really bad games.
Oh, yeah. Super bad.
Almost necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. They're good. Anyway, I think that wraps it up.
We did it.
Moral of the story, it can be done. Make sure that people care about it and you'll have a good product. There's tons of good licensed games out there. We just always associate that idea with bad games.
Crap. Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining the show tonight. If you're watching this on the live stream right now, you're on my channel on Twitch. It's Ryugami-san. You can also watch us on YouTube. We'll post the link in the chat. If you're watching it on YouTube, please make sure to share it. That really helps us out. If you want to yell at me on Twitter, it's Ryugami-sama. That's where you can find me. I stream on Tuesdays and currently Thursdays. I'll do my main story game that I'm playing through, which is currently Metroid Dread, on Tuesday. And on Thursday, I'm streaming with my semi-famous brother, Adam. We do Brawler Bros, which is we play brawler games. So we also kind of want to turn that into a semi-podcast. So if you want to like throw us some topic ideas and some game ideas, you know, if there's a brawler that you'd like to see us play, throw that into the Discord, which link is also in the chat. And then Saturdays we do Samurai Saturday. It's a samurai game every Saturday, which is a blasty. And then once again, Sundays we're here for the podcast. So, Josh, where can we find you, man?
Find me, most likely not, but sometimes, Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV on all my socials, which, you know, Ghost Town.
That he doesn't use.
You can check out my famous one stream of Metroid Dread that probably is already erased by now, and might get a... No, I already beat it. Never mind. Mario Party, maybe? You can just check out the features on stream. That'd be pretty cool on Friday. I might do that.
Yeah, I want to see it. I really
I might do that. I'm pretty excited to stream that, or play that at least. So I don't know. That might be like
do it. That way we can have footage for the show.
This game I already paid off, so I'm like, whatever. I'm literally just picking it up in my mind, and it's definitely a game that I feel like I might play for the weekend and never play again. But it's also possible it's amazing. I never want to put it down. Yeah. But yeah, catch me outside. Fair.
Thank you, Josh. Semi-pro at Mario Tennis. No.
Yeah. Mario
Golf.
Mario Golf.
Yes, yes. Top 100.
Top 100.
I'm going to be a top 100 Mario Partier. If there's a ranking system for Mario Party wins, oh yeah.
It's like a death wish.
Zach, where are you at, man?
I'm on Twitch at Another Letdown. I'll be live Thursday right before Paul and Adam. Alex and I are playing Gears Tactics, and we'll probably raid Paul and Adam when we're done. And Friday for Tabletop Simulator cooperative board games. I think we're playing Mansions of Madness again this week. Very exciting. Had a lot of fun with that. And Saturday, I paint miniatures. I'm working on Captain America. There he is. This coming week, and probably something else as well. And I'm on Twitter at DENONCZD, and you can catch all my stream replays at youtube.com/anotherletdowncf. And my Twitch is Another Letdown. I don't think I actually said that.
Crazy fuck.
Thanks again, guys. Catch us next time. We'll probably be arguing about Metroid.
Next is Metroid Dread. Let's do it.
Have a good night, you guys.
Woo.